Hi YouTube, I'm Taylor. Welcome to Ginger Next Door. Today's video I am going to be testing some brand new, well, new to me, stick products of all kinds. I have a foundation, I have some eyeshadow sticks, I have a highlighter, I have a blush. So we're going to just try these and see. I was on the hunt for some products that I can throw into a gym bag and have with me on the go that makes things easier to get ready at the gym or traveling. So I would like to not be able to have to take 500 brushes and 700 makeup items. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so basically, my thought process with this was that I would like to be able to have some makeup products that I can apply using either like a sponge or just use my fingers to do, because if I have a few products that I can use a sponge with, then I only have to take like a couple of sponges versus all my brushes. So that is the goal for today's video, to not have to pick up a brush and only use sponges. I have two sponges in front of me. I have one for like my foundation and my setting powder and one for contour and blushes. First thing I'm going to do is just prime my face really quickly using the NYX Angel Veil Primer. Oh, by the way, if you did not see my Target haul and you would like to watch that, I'm going to put a link to it down below in the description bar. So the foundation stick that I am testing out today is the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation stick. A lot of people really love the Photofocus foundation, so I'm hoping that the stick is good too. This is in the shade Shell Ivory. I really hope that this matches, because it's hard to tell in grocery store lighting, but let's see. Hold on, I forgot to do my under eyes. I'm just going to let that sit there for a second and see if it oxidizes. Let's pretend I did that on purpose, and moving on. I'm going to do my under eye corrector with my Pixi Brightening Peach Corrector, of course. And this is nice because it comes in a little pot, so I just use my fingers. Generally, I do use a concealer brush to do this, but we're doing no brushes for this video. And since my skin is mostly behaving other than these little cute hormonal breakouts, what up, Mother Nature, thanks a lot, I'm just going to use my color corrector under my under eye and not really worry about concealer on the rest of my face, especially since the whole point of this is to be able to go quickly, so if I can skip a step in my concealer, then that saves me a little bit of time. Okay, color-wise, I think we're okay on that foundation, so let's just go for it. It's just so convenient to be able to just like squish this onto my face. That seems like a lot. I hope that wasn't too much. Oh well. I'm just using a L'Oreal foundation sponge. I absolutely love this. I think it's so squishy and bouncy and really similar to the Beauty Blender. So I'm just going to use that to press this into my skin. I may have waited too long chit-chatting because it's a little hard to blend. Coverage is good. Medium-ish, but definitely you could do a full coverage if you just put more on there. In general, I just like a medium type coverage, so I'm okay with this so far. Also, next time I probably would work in sections because it did dry pretty quickly, so when I let it sit there, it wanted to dry before I had a chance to blend it, but not too horribly. And I was going to use a little extra of that to help hide these little guys. I'm also just going to take a tiny bit more of that right under my under eyes because I do have dark circles that constantly shine through. Oh geez, I just poked my eye out. But the peach color corrector helped a ton with that. And then if I just use a little bit extra of this. Also, usually I like to take either foundation or concealer up over my eyelids. Just use as a primer when I'm trying to be quick about it. Just use an eyeshadow primer, but sometimes if I'm in a hurry, again, we're trying to save steps here. I'll just use my foundation or concealer and then set that with powder, and then that usually works great as an eyelid primer. Okay, so I've been sitting here going back and forth trying to decide how to proceed, because generally this is the point where I would set my foundation all over my face and then go in with my powder, blushes, and highlighters and all that stuff. But now that I'm using a cream, do I set my... I wouldn't set it because then I would be putting cream on top of a face powder, and I feel like that is not going to be helpful at all. Ugh, this is the stupidest struggle I've ever had in my entire life. You know what? My foundation has set down to a pretty good consistency. I don't feel like it necessarily needs a ton of powder, so what I think I'm going to do is move into my cream products, maybe set my under eyes really quickly. I do have a note though. My under eyes look amazing, and normally by this point, if I have not set my under eyes, they get so creasy and wrinkly and weird looking, but I did not put powder there, just the foundation stick, and they look amazing. I mean, they still have like wrinkles under them because like I'm not 19, so I have like little fine lines under there, but they don't look horribly accentuated like sometimes when I've used certain products. I'm just using the Cover FX setting powder right under my eyes, using that same sponge on the pointed end. I'm also going to use that to set that foundation that I put on my eyelids, because that will help to prime my eyelids for my eyeshadows. Next, I'm going to switch over to this little sponge. This is a sponge that is specifically for cream, blushes, and highlighters. I believe it's from Real Technique. It's got a little bit different texture than their normal one. It's still really squishy and soft and easy to use, but it's a little bit more rough, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with this Jordana Sculpt and Go Creamy Contour Stick. I have not tried this yet. It's been sitting in my drawers for a couple of weeks. This is in the shade 02 Medium. It says sculpt in under 30 seconds. That's what we're looking for. Also, before I jump into this, I just want to mention I don't generally do like a super intense like Kardashian level contour. I just use a bronzer to warm up my face, give myself a little bit more color, and to create some cheekbones. So I'm not going for like a super intense contoured look, so I'm hoping that this will be the right shade. I would really like to try the Milk Makeup bronzer stick because I've seen really good reviews and heard a lot of good things about that one. So if I absolutely am not in love with this, I probably will try the Milk one. I wish that they made it in a mini, but I've only been able to find the full-size ones in store, and I'm a girl living on a budget. I'm going to try this one first because I got it at Walgreens. I'm going to take this on my cheek. Is that too much? Is it not enough? We don't know. And I just drew that in a line along my cheekbone, and I'm just going to use let's use this flat edge of this and try that to blend this into my skin. This is a lot different than using a brush. I am learning some things right now. Okay, I don't hate it. It's going to take me a minute to get used to that type of formula, but it blended out really easily. I don't feel like I have a super intense like scary line that I can't blend out. I am going to put a little bit more on and just place it the same. And I'm just really trying to keep that right in the hollows of my cheek and then right along my cheekbone where I would normally put my bronzer, and not take it down too far. If you go downwards with your bronzer or your contouring, that's going to like completely defeat the purpose of creating that line that gives us nice high cheekbones that we're trying to achieve. And also to create the illusion, like I always say, create the illusion that I go out in the sun, because I don't. Okay, now that I've done the cheekbone area and I survived, I'm going to go ahead and take just a tiny bit down the side of my jaw, and then also around the perimeters of my forehead. Again, just where the sun would touch our faces if we went in the sun sometimes without sunscreen. My plan with this sponge is to just use this side for my bronzer, and then maybe this side for the blush, and then the top for my highlight. So then that way we're not mixing colors and getting this all completely contaminated with everything. I hope this isn't one of those situations where like it looks great in the weird lighting in my room, and then I get in my car in natural lighting, I glimpse myself in the rear view mirror, and I'm like, who did your makeup this morning, sis? Because it doesn't look good. Anybody else? Just me? Great. I dig this. I've never tried anything else from Jordana, and I think that now I want to because this is amazing. I'm in love with it. What a great thing. Plus, I think this was less than $5. I got it at Walgreens, like I said. I am going to actually give myself just a tiny bit of this, because sometimes I feel like if I don't put a little bit of bronzer on my nose, it just like looks like a really white beacon in the center of my face. So I'm just going to warm that up a tiny bit. Nothing crazo. I should really try to do like a super intense contour, then maybe I would look like all the hot girls on Instagram. Okay, so far we're doing great. Next thing I'm going to use is a cream blush. I have this little tiny Milk Makeup one, and then I also picked up this Revlon one. This is something that I mentioned in my Target haul video. This Milk Makeup one I got at Sephora in their little travel section. That's why it's a tiny guy, and that's why I'm like, why, if you have this, why don't you make a tiny bronzer? Maybe they do. I've got to check online. But these look really similar color in the package. Maybe this one's a little bit more berry toned. Let's just swatch them next to each other. These are the colors. This one's the Milk one. This one is the Revlon one. The Revlon one is quite a bit lighter, but I still want to try it out and see. I wonder if they're close enough that I could try one on each side. We're going to just do it. I get a little nervous to just like try to put this right onto my face and then blend it out. So what I'm going to do is take the stick, take my sponge, rub it on there, and then pat it on my cheeks. And this one I'm using the Milk Makeup on this side. And obviously just putting that right where blush goes. This one has like a slight glow to it that I really like and think is really pretty. It's gonna do a little bit more on there. That's plenty. Why do I keep going so overboard with these products? Okay, now I'm gonna try the Revlon one on the other side. Same thing, I'm just going to like get a little of that on there and then pat it onto my face. Hello? Anyone home? What's happening? I don't like this. Look, okay. Look how much color I have on this side of my cheek. Look how much color I have on this side of my cheek. None color. It's very, very light. I feel like it's not really doing anything. I'm not in love with this. I'm just going to put the Milk Makeup one on the other side. See, but this is why we try new things, because then now I know that this can go back to the store. Sorry, friend. I feel like trying to blend that out did like nothing but take off my bronzer. Ugh. I'm gonna put a little more bronzer. It's fine. I am not mad about that Milk Makeup stick. That is really pretty. I would not mind having the full size of that, but I don't have to because it comes in a baby. And truly, how fast am I going to go through this? So, these I don't recommend. This is the Revlon Insta Blush. I feel like that like did not show up at all. Okay, next things next. Highlight. This is the Maybelline Master Strobe Illuminating Highlighter. This is in the shade Light Iridescent. I'm going to go ahead and take this. I've actually already used this, so I'm going to go ahead and just use the stick onto my skin. Obviously in the place that highlighter goes. And then I'm going to take, find a clean spot on this just to blend it out a tiny bit. It doesn't need a ton of help. This is not super shimmery or intense, so it blends out really nicely with your skin. I'm also going to use that just on the center of my nose, just for a little extra, and then on the top of my lip. I don't have much to say about this. I really like it. It's not a super intense glitter type highlighter. It's very nice like sheen and has like a slight shimmer to it without being too intense, and I like the formula a lot. I have not worn it for a full day yet, so I'm interested to see how this looks in a few hours, but so far I really like this. As usual, Maybelline does great. They're my favorite drugstore brand. I very rarely try something from them that I hate, so I wonder if they have a blush. I should look into that. Okay, really quickly I'm going to go ahead and do my eyebrows off camera, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that I've got some eyebrows, the next thing that I'm going to do is my eyeshadows. I have this Pixi eyeshadow stick. I used this last week and I kind of hated it, but I'm going to try it again just to see. So this is in the shade Matte Cognac. The only reason I didn't like this is because I feel like I could not get it to show up or do anything, and I put on like 5 layers and it just kind of went away. But I'm going to try. We're going to see. Because the problem is like it shows up fine, but I have to blend it out a little bit. It can't just be a line. I'm just going to put that through the crease generously. And then just tap it out with my finger a little bit. But you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I think last time I did this, I didn't take my foundation onto my eyelid like I normally do. So maybe it was because it wasn't really primed. Because I don't hate that. And it's showing up a little bit better. I might have actually changed my mind about this. Maybe it's not as difficult as I had thought that it was. See, this is why you have to try things more than once and different ways, because you never know. Actually, okay, I'm not mad at it. I may have overreacted. I'm sorry, Pixi. This is lovely. Okay, so it didn't suck. I'm just an idiot, apparently. Whatever. It's fine. I still feel like it could be a little bit more pigmented, though. Am I wrong? Like, I just feel like if I have to do it 3 layers, I could have just used a powder product and it would have taken me just as long. I don't know. Generous. Let's be generous on this side. Keep it in the area we want it. That looks great. I love it. I'm also going to just take this on my lower lash line as well. Then the next thing that I'm going to use is not exactly a cream product, but it kind of is. It's a liquid eyeshadow. This is the Pixi Fairy Lights in the shade Rose Gold. I actually really, really like this. I have used this before this day. It reminds me a lot of the Stila liquid shadows, and I love those. So I'm super happy about this. And then use my finger just to blend it out a tiny bit so there's not a weird line. A little bit more product than with the Stila one, but it's not a deal breaker at all. Okay, and then to finish off the eyes, I'm going to go back in with the Maybelline highlight stick to use on my brow bone and probably the inner corner as well. Little fun fact for you, when you use a highlighter on your inner corner, it makes your eyeballs look more awake and open, which is something that I need because I am constantly tired. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do my lashes off camera just because that gets kind of boring to watch. I'm going to use the e.l.f. What's this called? I'm going to use the e.l.f. eyelash curler and my Maybelline Lash Sensational mascara, of course. I'll be right back. I also used this little Pixi, where did it go? I also used this Pixi Tightline eyeliner. The first time that I tried this, I did not love it. It got all along my lower lash line, and within a couple of hours it had completely faded from my upper lash line. So I'm giving it a second chance because, like we know, second chances are important because I love this eyeshadow stick that I did not like the first time I tried it. So we're going to see how this looks in a couple of hours, and by the end of the day, if I've got black all over my under eyes, I guess we will know that it was indeed not my favorite thing. But I'm already starting to get a little in my lower lash line, like transferring, so we'll see. Update on the foundation. I am getting a little bit of creasing in my forehead just from making facial expressions, which is something I can't control until I get Botox. So I'm going to set my forehead with just a tiny bit of powder because I know within a couple of hours that's going to just be a nightmare. But other than that, I think I really like this foundation. I like the way that it looks. It feels really comfortable on my face, and my under eyes are great now that they're set, so I'm going to see how that looks at the end of the day, but so far it seems really promising. I'm going to go ahead and just do my lips really quickly. This is the NYX, can't get the lid off, Slide On, Glide On, Stay On, and Definitely a Turn On Waterproof Pencil. I'm going to go ahead and line my lips with this really quick. I'm actually going to use the Milk Makeup Blush Stick. I'm going to go ahead and just take a little bit of this on my lips as well. This is the shade Work. This also, it does say that it is for cheeks and lips. And then to set everything in place, because I have a lot of cream products on my face that I don't want transferring all over the place, I'm going to set my face using the Urban Decay All Nighter generously. Oh. I said if you did not watch the Target haul and you would like to see that, I'll put a link to that below, and then my next video that I will be posting is going to be a full review of everything that I got and a little bit more in-depth review than just my first day impressions of the rest of the stuff in here. So make sure you check out next week's video so that you can see all of the things from Target, and I will see you then if you stick around, which I hope you will. Goodbye.